And they're off there for the 9-lap race. Frank there, of course, in the lead still against the Red Bull of Andy here. And looks like he's going to take it into turn one on the inside. Doesn't get it though. Maybe almost a bit of contact between them. The Ferrari holds on to third, but goes up to third at the moment here. Let's see what the rest of the grid is having happened down in the midfield. Looks like it's pretty clean so far going on through. We're gonna have a look at position changes as we go through this here at the moment. Opening lap here of the Saudi Arabian sprint race, and Frank holds the lead. Andy in second, Ketchen still in third, Santiago still in fourth. Asylum is up on Trent. He's up into fifth. Trent down to sixth right now. Race is in 7 still, and we still got Raleigh in 8 at the moment. Holding positions as it is right about now, and I think there is gonna keep the gaps as close as they can going on through here. Remember, it's a very tight circuit going on through. There's no room for mistakes here. Definitely will put them into a wall if something does happen, or they make one slight error in terms of braking here, possibly end up into the back of another car. So let's see what's going to happen here. The top 4 drivers extremely close to each other right now, all within a second of each other in total. About 2 to 3 tenths is what the gap is between them as they go on through. Frank in the Aston Martin still leads this Grand Prix on the opening lap here. Andy there still in second. He's about 4 tenths behind, 2 tenths behind the Ferrari, catching up very quickly and looking for a gap to get an overtake here. Santiago in the McLaren in fourth, another 2 tenths behind, and he's keeping his gap as close as he can, using that slipstream down the pit straight as they go into lap 2 of the sprint race. And Asylum still there in 50s, losing time though, 2.5 seconds behind as the Ferrari and the McLaren both have been catching on to the Red Bull, who's starting to lose a bit of pace towards the Frank there in the Aston Martin out in front. He does have that clean air, and I think it's coming to his advantage right about now. Gap is up at least by 3 tenths down behind though, catching on to the Red Bull very quickly. Has some issues though. Santiago is right behind and not too far behind. He's about 4 tenths behind, so he has to watch that gap as he keeps this going on through. Very clean on the start going through so far. I think there maybe was a minor incident down at the back and the grid as Waffle and Youngling are in the pit lane right about now. Possibly, I think they're back out already. I'm not sure what happened to the 2 of them down at the back of the grid. But out in front, very close off with the top few drivers that we have it here. Gap is still within half a second of the top 4 drivers. Asylum still falling back just a bit here. I'm going to switch this on 2 so we know everyone's running mostly on medium tires there. Mason on the hards. Wonderful to see that there. We know they can run this all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. And let's just take all of that off. I don't think we need any thing there for the moment, at least, as they go on through out in front. We're gonna be heading into lap 3 in about 5 seconds time. So Frank still leading them through onto this here. Andy still in second. Ketchen still holds on to third there and is not letting that position go. Santiago still on his tail down in fourth. Asylum in fifth, falling a bit further behind. 2.5 seconds is what the gap is, not up to 2.7. But he does have the Mercedes of Trent coming pretty close up behind us. And I'll go on board for a second here just to see how close that gap is. And he has the Alfa Romeo within his viewpoint right now, about to lose that 1 second gap though, of course, which comes to advantage if he can keep it here in about a lap's time. So let's see what's going to happen as he goes on through. Ralphie, they're not too far behind. You can see the McLaren catching up to the Mercedes. About 7 tenths is where the gap is as you go further down the field. Got a race case here in the next Alfa Romeo here, being chased by a Haas there. Houdini about half a second behind, followed by John, followed by Gunnar there, another 2.5 seconds behind. So he's a bit further behind, losing a bit of time as well. Same as Assam out in front. So let's see if they can catch up and possibly decrease that gap that they currently have. JST there in 12. He's running behind, got a 1.6 seconds behind. Behind him is Mason. A bit of time to play with at this point here, 5.3 seconds. And Waffle, of course, who took a pit stop a bit further behind him is Young Ling there for 3 tenths. And Yuppie just behind that there. That's probably not doing as well as you would hope here. Young Ling trying to get an overtake done on the Mercedes there. He was going to try it on the inside. Didn't work too well. We're going to go out in front here, see what's going to happen with the top 4 at the moment. And Ketchen pretty close off each other along with the McLaren Santiago. He keeps the gap as it is. The Red Bull pulls it on the inside, going through into the next turn. Can he get the lead away from Frank? And he does get the lead away. He's up into the lead now. Frank's down to second. Ketchen holds on to third at the moment, still trying to catch up back up to out to the Aston Martin, who is currently in front of him. Let's have a look on board, see where we're heading with this. So Santiago still coming off pretty close behind. They're all just separating themselves away from the rest of the grid there. 3.5 seconds down to P5 where Asylum is in the Alfa Romeo, and the McLaren doing a pretty good job keeping up with the rest of the grid here. The switch out in front, and he takes the lead away from Frank. I think he's going to try to hold that lead as much as he can here. Lap 4 of 9 into the sprint race here at Jeddah. Is going definitely quite well so far. We got all 16 drivers still on the grid here and still going pretty strong with this. So I'll switch it back on overhead. Have a look what's happening out in front. The top 4 putting on quite a show for the opening race of the new season here at ARL Elite Division. And Andy, of course, leading them on through this. Put that lead away from Frank and the Aston Martin, and he's going to hold it on through. Frank closing the gap once again here. Let's see if he can get it done as they head into the final turn to get into lap 5 here. They're going to start to run out of the laps pretty shortly on this sprint. Try to get a good exit here. Not good enough. He's losing a bit of time, down about at least up to half a second now. Needs to close the gap back here because the Ferrari is right behind. Uses the DRS advantage, goes on the inside. Does he get the move done here? The same move that Andy did on the Aston Martin. It looks like it's paid off a bit for the Ferrari and for McLaren as well, who's up into 3rd. Frank down to 4th now. That's 2 positions lost in the matter of 2 corners going into lap 5. So he's not having the best of luck on the opening race of the season here. So Frank is down to 4th. Not where he wants to be on this track here at the moment. Andy holds the lead out in front. 4th is a gap with a Ferrari chasing after him. That's Santiago and McLaren. He's up into 3rd. That's the top 3 at the moment, looking to be on the podium if they can hold those positions all the way to the end of the race. A bit of a change up happening at the back of the grid there. I think with Yuppie and Youngling at the moment. So Asylum in 5th. Trent trying to close his gap. I'm going to go back down to him right now in the Mercedes. He's chasing after the Alfa Romeo in front of him. That is Asylum there losing time towards the rest of the grid. He does need to break some ground, catch up to them if he wants to possibly improve his position here on track. But Trent here looking to possibly get up into P5 because he's trying to close the gap down. And he's down to about half a second right now. What's happening out in front? There was another switch up happening. There goes the Ferrari into the lead of the Grand Prix. The Red Bull is down to 2nd. Santiago is still in 3rd. He's watching on as this happens. Frank catching back up to them. He's only a 10th behind the McLaren. And looks like he's going to push for an inside move. He's being forced a bit around the outside. Will he try to push that for that way? But doesn't look like he's going to take the chance with it. Holds it on through. Trent gets the move done. He's up into 5th. I think he might have been done that possibly on the last turn. I guess right behind these guys here, but he's up into 5th. Asylum is down to 6th. Out in front, the Ferrari continues to lead the Grand Prix. Lap 6 of 9 here for the sprint at Jeddah, and this is definitely a thrilling race and thrilling opening to the season. Interesting to see what's going to happen at the start of the 50% race and get to that, but yeah, they're pushing as much as they can for the sprinters. Remember, it's a very short race, only 9 laps. And they got to do what they can to get some points here. Ketchen is now up into the lead. We've had about 3 different race leaders from the start of this race. I think Santiago is the only one out of the top 4 that hasn't led the Grand Prix yet, and he's hoping for that. Ketchen continues on, 5/10 ahead of Andy there. He's trying to catch back up. Frank here, he's trying to find some way of getting past Santiago to get back on to a podium position if he can. Let's see if he can get that done. Out in front, the Red Bull might be trying to get it back here. He's within a 10th of the Ferrari, who's now under pressure going into the final sector here. And this is, of course, lap 6. We're about to go into lap 7. That Red Bull is on a mission to get past here. He might be able to get this done into turn 1. Let's see if he does push and move. The McLaren is right up to the rear of that Red Bull. This is going to go quite interesting as they head into turn 1 here, into the next lap, lap 7 or 9 of the sprint here at Jeddah. This is going to be 3 wide into turn 1 going on through. The McLaren tries to avoid contact with the Red Bull. Goes quite well. They keep it as clean as they can going on through. The Red Bull currently leads, but that might be a switch up as they keep it going here. The Ferrari has lost the lead. He's down to 3rd. Might be trying to fight back for 2nd. If he can get it away from the McLaren, the Aston Martin of Frank still down in 4th and pushing for a position here other than what he's currently has, and he's not getting past. Gap is, of course, very close and very hard to get an overtake at this point on this track here. Very few points that they can get the overtake done on, and it's been quite a thrilling race with the top 4. And even with the rest of the grid, if you can notice the gaps that we have come down at the back of the grid, they're quite interestingly not as big as you would expect it to be. And yeah, definitely showing what these drivers can do. Andy currently in the lead of the sprint here at Jeddah. 3/10 ahead of the McLaren of Santiago. Santiago, as I said, the only one in the top four that hasn't led the Grand Prix from the start to this point, and he's looking to get at least one lap leading this race. He's about to try to get past the Red Bull, pushing and looking for a gap to move on here. He's right up to the rear, 2/10 behind, less than 2/10 if we count this into those braking zones as he goes on through. Tries to keep it out of the back of the Red Bull as it is. He has pressure from the Ferrari coming behind. They're going side by side for it, and it looks like it's going to be the McLaren up into the lead. And even before they get into lap 8 here, penultimate lap of the race is where they're going into right about now. Santiago now leads them into that. He definitely is going to get the lead a lap, at least for now. Let's see how long that lead continues on through as he's on the inside. He's going to try to defend against the Red Bull, trying to go around the outside. He defends the position quite well. The Red Bull comes back on the inside of the next turn, and they're side by side going on through for the lead of the race. The Ferrari and the Aston Martin right up behind, so they got to be careful. Watch to make sure that they don't lose their current positions, fighting for a new position here. Red Bull still in second. Santiago still holds on to the lead. Who's going to win this? It's definitely difficult to tell what's going to happen before this sprint race comes down to an end. Santiago though continues on to the lead. JC with a 3-second penalty down in the midfield of the grid there. Andy in second, fighting with the Ferrari for a second now, catching, trying to get back a position here. The Aston Martin comes on through. That was 3 wide through that turn, and looks like Andy's holds on to second. The Frank up into third now, finally gets an overtake done. The Ferrari down to 4th. Trent is up into 5th, 3/10 behind. He's joined the battle out in front. Asylum catching up, he's in 6th, only 8/10 behind, and we're looking at quite an interesting change of going into the final lap of this sprint race, and Santiago still holds the lead, but I might stand a chance of losing it towards the Red Bull, who's really chasing after him, and the gaps of course have been this close for majority of the race, I'll say, within the top 4. I think they left that point. Looks like Frank looking to get up to second. He does get up to second. We're looking at almost 3 wide going into that next corner. Final turn for penultimate lap here. And we're about to get into the final lap of the sprint race. Santiago leads them in. It's only a 10th between him and Frank, who is going to push on the outside. The McLaren on the inside. Looks like Andy gets in the middle of this as well. The Ferrari and Trent all coming down behind. This is going to be an interesting one going on through. Frank is back up. He's up into the lead of the Grand Prix. Continues on through with that. He was leading at the start, if you remember that on through. And he's going to hold that lead. Hopefully he can hold it and win the sprint race. Andy's still in second. Santiago back into third. Catching down to 4th. He's not going to be too happy about that. Ferrari's going to have probably not a good day with that one there. He's out of the podium position. Trent in 5th. He's gonna be happy with that 5th, but he possibly could have gotten a 6th if he had another few laps to go. Maybe we'll do a bit better on in the next race coming through. Out in front, we got Frank getting a steady lead here. He's about 6/10 ahead of the Red Bull, and he's holding that position. He's putting everything he has into the final lap of the sprint race to win this. And he's trying to break the gap down, not actually getting any chance to even do this right now. Santiago starts to space away a bit. He's about 6/10 behind now. We're losing a bit of time. Catching here in 4th. He's still 2/10 behind the McLaren. He still might try to get another position up here as we get into sector 3 of the final lap of the sprint. Let's see who takes on this one here. Out in front, Andy and Frank, half a second behind. It still could be a change of going into the final turn as they're about to go into that here right about now. So let's see, does the Red Bull stand a chance of getting that overtake done? Doesn't look like it's going to be happening, and it looks like it's Frank coming around the final turn here, heading to the finish line, and he should be coming across the line here, taking a win for the sprint race here at Jeddah. Andy finishes second, Santiago third. That's our top 3. Catching in 4th, Asylum takes 5th. We got Trent in 6th, Race Chase 7th. Looks like John takes 8th. Houdini will take 9th. We got 10 coming on for JC. Has a penalty though, so it might be a switch with Gunner when he gets across. So let's have a look when that's going to happen. There we go. So Gunner goes up in 10. JC down to 11. I think that was the only penalty we had. Mason 12. Youngling in 13. Nyapedia 14. Raldi 15. And Waffle should be finishing 16th. I think that's the order. It looks like Raldi could still get an overtake done. He did get it done before the final turn. So Raldi's up into 14. Still a battle going on at the back here with the Ferrari and the McLaren. Race limited out in front, so let's see who takes it on through. Looks like Yuppie is still ahead of Raldi here going through as they get across the line, and that's the way they're going to take it almost side by side through to that one there as well. And Waffle should be coming around to take 16th on the grid. Definitely a heck of a sprint race here with the Elite Division from ARL. So we know what to expect when we get into the 50% race coming up in about another 2 minutes or so. So these guys really do put the performance up on track for our race session. 16 drivers, and we've been non-stop with that. Especially with the top 4 drivers, we've been non-stop with it from the start, lap 1 to lap 9, and they've really outdone themselves on this one here. So can't wait to see what we're going to have happening in the 50% race, which we're about to get to in just a bit. We'll have a quick look at the results here before we go into that. Okay, so there we have it, the results here for the sprint race at the Jeddah Carney circuit here for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. That is Frank there finishing on the pole. Andy finishes second on the podium, Santiago third on the podium, got Ketchen in fourth, Asylum in fifth, Trent in sixth, Race Chase 7, John in 8, we got Houdini there in 9th, got Gunnar in 10, JC 11, Mason 12, Youngling in 13, 14 for Yuppie, Roldy in 15, and Waffle 16th on the grid. That's the results for that. We're going to head straight into the 50% race in about a minute and a half time or so. So yeah, stay on, and we are ready to go. Frank up, starting on pole position. Andy in second, just alongside him there, and trying to get a bit in front of him, but let's see what's going to happen as we get into turn 1. 25 laps into this. Looks like it's a bit interesting in the midfield there. Some pretty close gaps to the cars going on through. Frank still leads the Grand Prix, 4/10 ahead of Santiago. The McLaren, Andy down to third here, and Asylum running forward. Let's have a look at position changes as they go through with this. It's a switch with the Red Bull and the McLaren there, second and third, and Asylum is up on the Ferrari. Catching interesting there. Trent in 6, he holds that position. John up a position on Race Chase. And we can see the rest of the order as they go on through. Ketchen here, looking to get up on Asylum. How close is he? Only a 10th behind. Can he get a position up here? Let's see. Might not push for it as much as he would have in a sprint race. There's 25 laps. They got to take their time with this one here. Remember that winning a race is not going to happen on the opening lap of the race. He's pretty close off to the Alfa Romeo, looking to have that pace that's needed to get past him. Let's see how close he can get out in front though. That gap is looking quite exciting to have an idea what's going to happen here, because it's only a 10 between Santiago and Frank. I want to have a look what's happening with these two as they go on through. Andy there, he's 6 tenths behind. Sorry guys, running out of voice a bit on this one here. 2 tenths out in front of Santiago and Frank at the moment, and that is for the lead of the Grand Prix as they now head into the lap 2 of 25, and Frank holds the lead at the moment. And now take this off. Let's have a look at the tire situation as they started on here. So majority of these cars on the mediums, 2 on the hards. That's Andy in the hard. We want to see what our Red Bull manages with it. And then Trent in the Mercedes, he's taking a chance with the hards as well. A few cars on the softs. We'll see how it happens in terms of helping them with race strategy here. The McLaren all over the back of the Aston Martin right about now for the lead of the race. The Red Bull trying to keep up behind. Those hard tires might be putting him at it's a bit of a disadvantage. Let's see if that does happen out in front. I want to see that lead is going to change. Frank holds it on through. He's not giving up at this point. There's still a long way to go in the Grand Prix here. Santiago is going to push all the way through. Andy and Ketchen, they're not too far off. It's within a second between them. It's 7 tenths. Asana falls back at just a bit here. He's out of the 1 second range. Not going to have that DRS advantage once we go into lap 3. The McLaren pushing on through. He's so close behind. Going to try possibly from the inside move here. Can he get it done? I don't think he's going to take the chance with it. But how close is he going to get possibly into that final turn on this lap? He might just try to take it on the inside, or either that or lap 1. Turn 1 into the next lap. It's, I think, the easiest spot to try to get it done. He's forced around the outside. Can he still push it on through? He's still ahead, and he gets ahead of Frank. He's up into the lead here. Santiago takes that away. He's up nearly pretty early off in the main race. Andy there still holds on to P3. Frank now down to second. He's going to try to get back his position, and I think the McLaren had the purple sector 3 times, so they did pretty well in that. Gonna have a look at the rest of the grid as we have it. Houdini there in 10th. I want to have a look what's happening in the back of the grid as well in midfield. In the midfield right now, the two Haas drivers so close behind each other. Not sure how the team is gonna respond to this one here. But Houdini behind his teammate by about 6 tenths, and he's trying to possibly get an overtake. I'm not sure he's gonna stay in that position. Race J just ahead of the two Haas drivers. Someone just went off track, and I think that was the other Aston Martin of Edwards there. He's getting back on track right now. 3 tenths behind Yuppie. And what you can see right now out in front, gap still pretty close off. And you can see the hard tires not working as well as Andy has hoped here. He's out of it in terms of strategy. 1.2 seconds down from Frank. And with what we saw in the sprint race, that's a big gap right now between them. Out in front though, looks like Santiago is about possibly to lose that lead. And I don't think he wants to give it up right now. It's just under 2 tenths between Santiago and Frank here. This is for the lead of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix here. Looking at this landscapes around, quite interesting with the night race here as well. The McLaren holds it on true though. He holds on to the lead of the Grand Prix. It's only lap 3. We still got a bit more. We're going to lap 4 right about now. There goes the Aston Martin around the outside. He gets the move done very easily here. Bit of slipstream, and I guess the DRS advantage did help quite well with that. Ketchen out of that range now. Andy down to 4. Ketchen is up into 3rd. He's up into a podium position. It's 1.3 seconds where the gap is. He's going to have to try to catch up to these guys now as he's ahead of the Red Bull who was on the hards. He's down. Trent, who was on the hards as well, he's down to 7. The rest of the drivers out in front of the field on the mediums and doing quite well going on through. Hards not seeming to be the tire to run on this track here. But the strategy, of course, does have to go with at least one tire change here, because it seems it's going to be a full dry session all the way through. Frank out in front, 4 tenths is when the gap is. He's 2 tenths faster than what Santiago was running when he was leading the race. Ketchen is now a second behind Santiago in the McLaren. He's going to get within that 1 second gap. He's going to get the DRS advantage and, of course, try for an overtake on the McLaren to see if he can get up into second place as much as he can. I'm quite sure he's going to fight for it here. The McLaren all over the rear of Frank right now, who is leading the Grand Prix, and of course definitely doesn't want to give that lead up, but it could possibly happen. Let's see how the pit stop strategy is going to change things around here for these drivers here. I know we're sticking a bit out in front. We're switching around a bit going through. Trent here, pretty close gap here with the Mercedes drivers. He gets past the Red Bull of John. He's up into 6th place and he holds the position. John only a 10th behind, but looks like he holds it on true. And he has the DRS advantage. Roldy is out of the session. We got a full yellow. That's a safety car. That's a full safety car. Everyone's going to have to hold their positions. Slow the entire race down here. You can see the safety car coming out to the pit lane there right now to lead the cars around until they get that incident cleared off track. Not sure exactly what happened with Roldy there, but quite a serious incident as we had a full safety car on track now. And that's going to go on for another 2 laps, at least maybe 3 laps, before we can get the Grand Prix back on the way again. This might trigger some pit stops here with a few drivers. As you can see at the back of the grid, Houdini, Mason, Edwards, and Gunnar all in the pit lane right about now, trying to get those tires changed. Now, of course, both of the cars were already past the pit lane entry when this happened, so not a lot of them out in front could have even taken a pit stop here. Not sure Santiago wants to take a stop here either. He's leading the Grand Prix, not going to take that chance. Frank there in 2nd, Ketchen in 3rd, Andy 4th, Asylum in 5th, Trent in 6th. We got John 7, Race Chase in 8th, got Youngling there in 9th, the Yuppie 10, JC 11, Waffle 12, Houdini 13, Edwards in 14, Gunnar in 15, Mason 16, Roldy and McLaren unfortunately out of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So good luck for him for the next one. Unfortunately, he's going to score no points here for this race. I think whatever he had for the sprint, if he did have any points, that's going to count. So still under a full safety car here at Jeddah. Alright guys, this is lap 5, or we're going into lap 6 now. We're going into lap 6 now, Riyadh. Yep, so we got a few pit stops happening out in front now. And looks like, did Ketchen take a pit stop? I don't think he did. The Ferrari of Ketchen did not take a pit stop. Frank and the rest of the grid are getting into the pit lane right now. changing off tires and they're getting back out. I think Alfa Romeo might have done double stack there to get both of the cars in and out, back on track. And we can see the gap out in front. Of course, we know that gap is going to close back down before the safety car actually goes away, because yeah, we still got a lap and a half more or so maybe for the safety car period before we can have that ending. We'll know at the end of well, yeah, the end of sector 2 on whichever lap it is, that previous lap, we know it's going to go back in. So the order as it is right now, because of the cars who are leading the race not getting to take their pit stop when the safety car happened, because they're already past that pit lane entry, they've now taken the pit stops there just before they're on behind. To the order as it is, Ketchen in the Ferrari leading the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. JST, this is of course under the safety car. JST is in second, Santiago third, Frank in fourth, Andy fifth, Aslan fifth, Trent is seventh, Youngling in eighth, John in 9th, Race Chase 10th, Yuppie in 11th, Houdini 12th, Gunnar 13, Mason 14, Waffle in 15, and Edwards 16th on the grid. At the moment, that is our current grid order under this safety car. I'm hoping we're having the safety car going at the end of this lap here, because we've had everyone, I think, catch back up already. It looks like we're possibly going one more lap under the safety car if we can get things going here. Alright, so into lap 7, we are right about now, guys. One driver out of the Grand Prix, unfortunately. Got quite a bit more laps to go in this race session. We're going to go back racing into lap 8 of 25 of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. All these drivers back right up to the rear of each other right about now to get this race back on the way. I think the only driver way behind is maybe Colin Edwards there in the Aston Martin. He's down to 16. And I think he took an extra stop maybe or something. That's why he's all the way back there. Gunner with a penalty. Not sure how much of a penalty. Yeah, possibly a 3-second penalty or something else. We'll see what's going to happen there. And what was interesting about this race is the guys are using the actual weather of what it is in Saudi Arabia right now. But yeah, that was actually interesting to know. I don't think I've ever seen a league do that before. I hope you guys are not hearing anything twice, because this headset is actually pretty loud. I actually keep it pretty loud so I can enjoy the race myself. Alright, are we going into sector 3 now? I don't see a notification coming up there as yet. Should have it by now. The safety car should be going in, because it's been up for quite a while. Oh, there we go. Safety car coming in. I didn't know this lap, so that is back racing into lap 8. And getting back into a bit of the excitement. Let's see how the restart is gonna go. I'm gonna stick with Frank out in front here. I want to see how Ketchen and Santiago makes out in front of him. Remember, Ketchen is on old tires now. He started the race on those tires, those medium tires that he's on. The rest of the grid are on fresh tires. And are they on, what tires are they on there? Let's have a look. So hard for the McLaren and the Aston Martin. Now medium for the Red Bull. This is going to make an interesting change up. Andy's now on the mediums, whereas Frank and Santiago are on the hards, which didn't go too well for the Red Bull driver. Let's see how it goes for the rest of the grid here as we go back on the restart of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix here. So Ketchen leads them into this as they head into lap 8. The McLaren in second, Frank in third, the Red Bull in fourth, and let's see where they are going to be at the end of lap 8 going on through now. McLaren holds on through after that restart going through there. Frank pretty close up behind of him. Catching trying to distance himself a bit out in front there. He's on the mediums. How much are those mediums gone? I don't think they're gone that bad as yet. So he's going to have some pretty good grip to try to get away from the rest of the grid. But how well is it going to work? Got Frank there. 310 gap towards the McLaren. He's really pushing for this overtake. Andy behind of him, we can see coming up there. He's not too far off behind. Looks like Gunner is out of the Grand Prix. We got another safety car happening here. Not the best of luck for Gunnar in the Alpine there, so he's out of the Grand Prix. That's definitely an incident happened on that safety car restart there, unfortunately. And it's going to be a full safety car because the track is just such a tight track that any minor incident on track, you got to have almost a full safety car to get the cars off track here, just for safety's sake. So explains a lot why we're mostly going to be going to a full safety car on a track like this. It's actually expected. It's a pretty tight circuit. Incidents are bound to happen with drivers racing so closely with each other. I'm quite sure there are going to be investigations happening at the end of this session itself there. So second safety car of the race session. We're going to have to go through that a bit just to get Gunnar's car cleared off track safely before we can get these guys back racing. We're going to hope it probably was just a VSC, but you know, it does happen on a track like this. Can't say I'm not expecting it to happen. To go into a full safety car like that, we should be getting back. Oh, there we go. The Ferrari was thinking about going into the pit lane, but he didn't. I think he was trying to have a look to see what's going to happen behind of him, but he knows if he goes in, he's going to go all the way possibly to the back of the grid. This race had just got started back when that incident happened there. It didn't, and we didn't even go through a full lap, I think, before that incident actually came up. So yeah. So we're going to go on through for the safety car a bit here. So switching this on through, we can switch off screen for a second here because I didn't realize I actually had the microphone on the camera, on the calendar side of things. The camera's not on, but that's fine. So basically this is what we're doing on Wednesdays right about now. ARL Elite Division. Every Wednesday this race is happening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a short qualifying and a 50% race. Of course, this week, first round of the new season was a bit different because there's a sprint race here for Jeddah and a few more as we can see on the calendar. We have November 15th, that was today for the Jeddah sprint. November 29th, we're having Abu Dhabi. December 6th, Portugal. We got Imola on December 13th, Japan on December 20th. Going into 2024, Spain on January 10th. We got Britain on January 17th. There's going to be a sprint there as well, which means we're going to have a short qualifying, a sprint race, and a 50% race as we've had today. So we'll be going through that there. January 24th for Australia, January 21st for Austria, and that's another sprint session there as well. So Singapore, then we come to on February the 7th. February 14th is going to be Qatar there for another sprint race. Netherlands, the Dutch Grand Prix on February 21st. Belgium, Spa, that's going to be February 28th. The Hungarian with Hungary for March 6th, and that's going to close off this current season here with the Elite Division of ARL. At least that's what we're having there for now, going on through. So yeah guys, that is this what the season is going to be looking like for ARL going on through, and we're gonna of course try to be there for every single race as much as we can. If we're gonna miss a race session, well, I'll let the guys know, I'll let JC know what's gonna happen with that, so at least you guys will have an idea if I'm not gonna be there a week, if something does come up. But otherwise than that, I'll be here every Wednesday doing this, so enjoying the session as I'm enjoying it right now. Unfortunate for a second safety car here, but we got to get through this. It's a very tight track. It's expected these things are going to happen from time to time. Open tracks, we're hoping we're not going to have as much safety car with tracks that have a lot of runoff area, a lot of room to deal for the teams to deal with. We'll see what's going to happen. So on lap 10 here right about now, I'm going on through. Still have possibly one more lap before we can close off the safety car period and then get back the race on the way again. Alright guys, lap 10 of 25, we're about to get into lap 11 and get this Grand Prix back on the way. Ketchen leaving in the Ferrari out in front. And we got Santiago there. Second, Frank third, Andy fourth, Salam in fifth, Trent in sixth. And we know what kind of battle we have happening out in front there. Let's have a look at the tires as it is. Ketchen didn't get to take a pit stop because I didn't pay attention to that. So I'm switching back just to have a look what's happening as they go around the final turn and go back racing here at the Jenna Corney circuit. Let's see how the restart goes on this one. We're staying again around with Frank here. We're trying to have a look at the midfield if you can catch any incidents happening on this occasion for a restart going through. Out in front, the Ferrari holds that position. 2/10 is where the gap is with the McLaren behind. Frank trying to get past here. Not looking like it's going to happen. Andy clears her position, but he holds on to fourth. And Trent there in sixth, a 3:10 gap behind the Alfa Romeo at the moment. Pretty good with that restart here, getting back into the race. And the midfield is not looking too bad either here. Hoping to avoid any incidents. Oh, well, we got another incident here. Spoke a bit too soon with that. Race chase out of the session. Do we have another safety car? Please don't be another safety car. It looks like it's just a caution. They're in sector 1 as he's off. They should be able to get that clear before we get back around the track here. But of course, that's going to happen pretty quickly. So let's see what's going to happen. Looks like it's already clear. It might have been a runoff area right there for them to get it off track. Out in front though, Ketchen in the Ferrari leading the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Santiago in second. Big Mama Frank in the third. Andy in fourth. Asylum fifth. Trent sixth. And we got Youngling 7th, Mason in 8th, JST running in 9th, Edwards chasing after him out in front is side by side with the top two for the lead of the race as the Aston Martin watches on from behind. Who's going to hold that position? The Ferrari still has it through. A bit of minor contact between them as they go into the Ferrari holds the position. Now it's Santiago and Frank side by side for second place in the race. And looks like the McLaren takes it back to the still side by side going. They might be 3 wide going into the next turn. And a Ferrari somehow is managing on those old tires to keep it into the lead of the Grand Prix. Frank now up into second here. Santiago is down to third. He's only a 10th behind. He's still side by side with the Aston Martin. We might have Andy coming into the mix of this as he tries to get it back. He's now on the inside of the Aston Martin going through for the lead of the race. But looks like Frank gets up into the lead. I'm not sure how he pulled that one out, but he got the advantage through. And he's up into the lead of the Grand Prix. They don't give us advantage back as yet as it's just our back racing. Santiago is now down to second. Ketchen, who was leading the race before the safety car restart, he's down to third. Andy in fourth, right where he was. Asylum in fifth, got Trent in sixth, and the rest of the grid, I think mostly right where they were. JST in 10th. He has a pretty close gap with Mason here. Let's have a look what's happening. It's a 2:10 gap. Youngling and Asala might have had a switch there as the Alfa Romeo is down another position and he's down to 7th. He's going to possibly try to get that back around, getting to the halfway point of this race now. Lap 12 of 25 as we can see the two AlphaTauris here racing each other through, and this is for P9 in the race here. Trent trying to have a look where he is. He is still in P5. JC trying to get past his teammate and might have gone a bit wide there. He's now losing positions, falling down the order. He's down to 13, so that didn't go too well for him in terms of trying to get that overtake done. I'm trying to go back out in front with a Red Bull who's chasing after a Ferrari, and he's having a pretty close run with him. He's going to go on the inside, try to get up into third place. He does get a position away quite easily as well. I think he holds that through, catching on the fourth. Still a 3:10 gap, as we said. These top 4 are going to fight it on through. Trent looking to get into the middle of this battle as he's pushing as much as he can here. He's a 7-10 gap with him and the Ferrari. DRS advantage comes back online, so that's going to help quite a few drivers. As you can see the gaps as they are. Yuppie there, who's about to get up into P9. And someone's falling on the order. I think that was Houdini, or was that Waffle? Someone fell way down the order. I have no idea who it was at this point. So going back out in front again on with the Red Bull. And Santiago still holds on to P2. Frank up into the lead of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And he holds it on to lap 13 of 25 with a 7-10 gap. It's extremely difficult at this point for them to even get a second on each other in terms of gap here. Waffle 3-second penalty down at the back of the grid there. And that is, of course, for exceeding track limits. And go back on the overhead cam. 8-10 gap with the McLaren and Frank out in front. Frank pushing, of course, to get him out of that 1 second range. Doesn't want the McLaren having the DRS advantage. And landing himself for an overtake. At least we're going through with that there. So let's see if he can keep him out. There's still another 2 tenths. He's trying to drop it again here. 6 tenths is what it's at right now. Andy a half a second behind the McLaren. He's pushing as much as he can to keep himself in the podium. Catching in the Ferrari. He is still within a second. Now falling out of that gap. He's down to a fifth right now. Trent is up into fourth. He's going to try to push himself up into a podium position if he can. I think Trent is a reserve driver in the division, or whatever I think he is. I'm not sure, but he's doing pretty well for a reserve driver here in the Mercedes. And that was the fastest lap of the race there, 1:30.943. When the Mercedes are with Trent there, he's pushing as much as he can. It's a 1.2 second, 1.1 second gap now towards Andy in the Red Bull out in front. He's trying to get within DRS advantage. If he gets that advantage, he might just be able to get himself up into the podium places here, and that's going to be quite a finish for the Grand Prix. If he can't, Asylum is out of the race. The Alfa Romeo driver is out. I'm not sure what happened, and that's going to lead, of course, to a full safety car on track. They're way too close together for that not to be a full safety car to happen there. And I actually get a break on down there as well. So not I was looking for one, but yeah, we still get one going on through. But Frank there in the lead of the Grand Prix now under the safety car though. This is now going to trigger some pit stops where Ketchen has the advantage. He's now going to be able to take his pit stop here and get off those tires that he started the race on. Problem is though, he's going to be going onto the set of hard tires unless he can really push a bit more to then take another pit stop if another safety car happens. Sorry, another safety car happens, and then possibly get into a set of softs. It's a risky strategy, but I think his strategy might have to be going onto a set of hards now, which of course is a bit slower. We saw that starting with a Red Bull in this race, and I think along with Trent as well. Now Trent is of course on the mediums now along with Andy. They're doing pretty well, third and fourth on the grid, still under the safety car. This has been quite a session here with the elite division of ARL. So we'll be going on in chat pretty soon. We got a lot of pit stops happening out in front. All the top drivers are in. Frank, of course, race leader, going to be getting back out. So the pit lane is extremely busy here right about now as they get the old tires off, new tires on. They're getting back out. We can see them coming there right now. Frank, of course, should be coming out back into the lead of the Grand Prix. I think I'm going to have some water before we get back started again. To JST, thank you very much for getting me involved with this league. This is quite exciting to watch. That sprint race was a heck of a race. The main race here, my safety car, yeah, but it's still quite an exciting battle when the race gets started back. And given how much time we have left in the session, we're on lap 15 or 25. It's about 10 and a half laps or so remaining in the Grand Prix. So yeah, I think we're going to possibly make one straight go down to lap 25 after this race gets restarted. Hoping I don't have any more incidents in it. But on a track as this, you know, things are expected to happen. So we got to work with it as best as we can here. We got 13 drivers currently remaining in the session. We started off with, I think, 16th in the sprint it was, right? And then 17 here in the main race. Oh, guys, so still under the safety car, of course. I think this is our third safety car of the session, if I'm not mistaken, which is fine. We're lap 16 or 25 right about now. So turn 3 claims another Kasama. Yep, it happens, man. It happens. You know, better luck on the next race. I always can say that. It's still early off in the season. And if you're wondering why I keep looking on that direction, it's because that's where the chat is. So main screen in front of me, chat on the side. That's why I keep doing that. I think we should, I think maybe a lap more so before we get back racing here. I didn't count the laps, how many it was under the safety car, but hopefully maybe at the end of this one or maybe one more. I'm hoping they got that cleared already. We should be able to get back racing. I just make one straight go down to the end of the race. No mention of no mention, no worries. I mean, you put on a pretty good show in the race, I gotta say. From sprint race up to this one here, you've been just right up in the battle going on through. So it was some really exciting, really good driving. I think from just everyone in the division itself, from the league itself, from what I'm seeing here. I'm not sure how the other divisions in the league go. I did watch one of the other races, I think, from one of the links that JST sent me. Looked pretty interesting, so you know I did want to do this to see how well it's done. I didn't expect this to go like this much close racing. I know it's a no assist league, which I know was gonna make it a bit exciting for me because I love seeing races like that. And we had the safety car going in at the end of this lap, so we're about to get back racing here. So we're gonna switch this back on through. Let's get back onto the full race screen now. And let's see what's going to happen. We're going to keep it possibly with Trent out in front here, P4. I'd like to keep it around here when we're getting a race back on the way from a safety car. It's lap 16 going into lap 17 or 25. We're coming right down to the second half of this race. And just down to the end of the race, I would say, at this point here. So there's not a lot of laps left here. You got Frank leading, Santiago in second, Andy in third, Trent in fourth, Ketchen in fifth in the Ferrari, and Youngling down in sixth in the Haas, Edwards up to 7, Yuppie 8. Let's see how the restart goes as they go for it here. The McLaren looking for a gap to go on here. Right up to the rear is where the Red Bull is, and he's pushing on to Trent up into fourth. He's 3 tenths behind. Stands a pretty good chance of getting up into a podium place by the end of the Grand Prix. Got a Ferrari chasing after him though, so it's going to be quite an interesting run to see the final few laps of this race, how it's going to go. And a gap as we have it, we know what it is right now. It's less than 7 tenths between the top few drivers. It's only 3 tenths between the Ferrari. Someone went off track. The Red Bull, I think, just went off track there, but he still held the position. Not sure how he did that one there. We got the Haas, I think, from Young trying to pull on the inside of the Ferrari. Didn't actually get that move done. Has to hold his place. 2 tenths where the gap is. Trent with a 4-10 gap now. He's lost about a tenth towards the Red Bull in front of him. Needs to get that gap down. Colin Edwards there, P7. He's in behind of the Haas driver and in front of the next Ferrari running in this race here. Mason in 9. It's a bit of a gap to work with. Down in the back there, Houdini in 12. He's chasing after JST. This could be an interesting run there at the back of the grid, but they need to get himself into the top 10 here. How much closer can he get to get the overtake done? He's pushing as much as he can out in front. Bit of gaps are starting to form. Remember, they're on the hard tires now going on through, so that's going to space them off a bit just as they're getting them up to temperature here going on through. Frank still in the lead, 1.2 seconds, keeping the McLaren out of DR's advantage. Trent is up into a podium place. He's up into third and catching down to fourth. We got Andy. No, Andy's down all the way to 6 right now. He might have had a bit of an incident going on through. Let's switch it on through. He's in the pit lane, so something happened. Not sure what happened, or he just did a pit stop here. Did he take any damage, or did he just have to do a pit stop? But he's going onto a set of soft tires now, getting back out on track. This has been interesting. He's serving a penalty on the in a pit lane as well. I think that's mostly why he took a pit stop as well. So Frank into the lead still. And we're going to go back to Houdin, who just got up into P9 here, ahead of Mason and JC. JC in 11. JC now goes ahead. He's up into P10. What's happening with Mason at the back here? The two Tory drivers here, 10th and 11th. JC is up into the top 10th now as he pushes on through. Bit of a gap between him and Houdini out in front, who's trying to catch up to the rest of the grid here as well. Going back to Edwards here. Colin Edwards in P6 in the Aston Martin. His teammate leading the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix out in front, hoping for a win here. Santiago there running 1.9 seconds behind. Those tires are not working on that car, and the McLaren now falls further behind. 2 seconds is where the gap is. Got Ketchen in the Ferrari. He's hoping to get some advantage. He's on the soft tires here. It's the 7-10 gap towards the Mercedes in front of him. Trent is under pressure. Can he keep the Mercedes on a podium position, or he's going to have to give that position back to the Ferrari? Let's see what's going to happen as they keep this going here. DRS is back online. It's lap 19 as we go into that lap there right now of 25. Ketchen 8-10 gap. The Ferrari is losing a bit of time, but he needs to keep the gap as close as he can here, because Trent on those mediums, and we know the mediums work pretty well. I thought Trent was on the hards actually. No, he started on the hard, he's now on the medium, so he still has that advantage. But catching on these soft tires, he's going to be pushing like crazy on the final few laps of this Grand Prix and try to get himself up back into the podium. Frank out in front holds his own here. He's leading his own race 2.4 seconds ahead of the McLaren. Not sure how that's happened, but the McLaren is out of it on the medium, but not able to keep up with Frank out in front. What's happening with the tires? Let's have a look. So it's soft tires right now for Frank out in front there, and he's pushing as much as he can on them. We can see how well they work, because the gap is just going like crazy at this point here. I think we're gonna keep tires on so we can have a look on who's having a bit of advantage and why here, going on through to the final portions of this Grand Prix. Lap 19 or 25, we'll be switching that up in just a bit here. 2.8 seconds out in front with the top two, half a second with Trent and Santiago. The McLaren under pressure now from losing second place, catching in the Ferrari, losing a bit of time. He's over a second and behind the Mercedes, so that's DRS advantage off for him. Youngling's gonna have the DRS advantage, though he's about 4 tenths behind Yuppie there. Let's have a look at Yuppie in the next Ferrari as he chases after Colin Edwards, tries to get up into 6-10 gap. Not looking too bad in terms of getting that done. Trent out in front, we're trying to keep a close eye on him as he closes gap towards the McLaren of Santiago. He's trying to get up a better position if he can. Lap 20 of 25 now, so close down to the end of this Grand Prix. And so much has happened. 3 safety cars going on through, a few yellow flags, a few incidents, 4 drivers out of the race, 13 remain, and it's going to be an exciting run to the finish here to see who is going to be taking the win for this one and which other 2 drivers will be standing on the podium. And because it's looking as though Frank is going to be winning this race with that Aston Martin on the soft tires at 3.1 seconds. He's out in front of the McLaren, of course, is under pressure right now, severe pressure from Trent in the Mercedes, and Trent, of course, now coming under a bit of pressure himself and the Ferrari behind as he's catching back up. He's found some pace in those soft tires now, and he's gonna push in the final 5.5 laps remaining on the Grand Prix to try to get up another position. He wants to finish with that car on the podium and have those points for himself here. First round of the new season here at ARL Elite Division, and there goes a Ferrari on the outside. He gets up into second place. He's gonna push against it with the McLaren for yeah, he does get up into second place because he pushes with the McLaren, gets the position up. He's now gonna be fighting his way up into the lead of this race if he can. Side by side is we have the McLaren. It's 3 wide going into turn 1. You got a McLaren, a Mercedes, and the Ferrari was in a bit of that as well. I had to switch it off a bit here. The Mercedes goes up to second, Santiago down to third, catching in fourth right where he was, and that's the order as it is right now. Out in front though, 3.5 seconds is by which Frank leads the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and he's looking for a win on the first round of the season here on the main race. Let's see if he can get it. It's a 3-10 gap between the McLaren, between Ketchen and with Trent as well. You got Youngling coming just behind them, half a second behind. Colin Edwards looking for a possible overtake on the Haas driver. If he can get it a bit further on back behind, got a bit more bigger gaps than we possibly would like here, but they're having a pretty good race going on through. JST is still in the top 10 here. Houdini in front of him, 2.4 seconds behind the Red Bull. Let's see if he's going to have an improvement in terms of positions here. Catching in P4, having a look what's happening with the top 4 drivers. Looks like Trent is starting to wear away that gap there, just about 2 tenths, but he's working on it right now. Has a few laps to get this done, but can he get it done by the end of the Grand Prix is going to be the question here, because he's under pressure. Santiago going past him right about now, and looks like the Ferrari is going to challenge him as well into that turn on the inside. Almost a bit of contact between them. I think it was close enough, but not close enough for any major contact, but they're still pretty close off going through. 3.3 seconds out in front of the McLaren leading these two. He's in second. Trent down to third. Ketchen still in 40s. Lost another position there as the Haas goes ahead. Has a bit of contact with the Ferrari now. So Youngling, he's losing back a position with Trent. He's fighting with him for it. Trent is down in fifth. The Haas is in fourth. Ketchen in third. Had a bit of contact with the Haas. Santiago holds up into second place. 3.0 seconds. 3 seconds clear. Is where Frankie is out in front. The gap is starting to come down. With these cars even fighting for positions here for second, third, fourth, and fifth. They're still fighting Frank out in front for that lead. And that gap, though, is going to be a hard one to break down. We're already on lap 22 of 25 here for the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix at Jeddah Carney Circuit. And it's been a heck of a race going on through from the start to this point. 3 safety cars, but gotta say, it's been one heck of a race going through. Frank looking for a possible win here at the Jeddah Carney Circuit, but can he get it? It's 2.7 seconds is what the gap is now. It was 3.5 seconds. He's down to 2.7 seconds between him and the McLaren, who's now in second. Let's see what's going to be another switch up that's going to happen, possibly in a lap or two. Ketchen in third in the Ferrari. Youngling in fourth. Trent all the way back down to fifth. Unfortunate for him, but can he get it back up? Colin Edwards there running sixth. Yuppie in seventh. John in eighth. We got Houdini running ninth right now. JST in 10th. We got Mason 11. Andy down to 12. Had such a good start to this race there. Was battling it out in front. Waffle in 13. But I think he had to sort of penalty or something. Not sure what the heck happened. But as it is coming down to it right about now, we're in lap 23 of 25 going on through. It's still such a close gap out in front. 3.4 seconds now. The gap has gone back up again. Frank has done something with those off tires. He's pushing and putting everything he has into them right now to win this race. 3.3 seconds is going a bit up and down with a few tenths here and there. Got a half a second towards catching down in third. Youngling still in fourth, wants to get himself onto a podium place if he can. Sees the opportunity here, and he's going to possibly push for it. Half a second gap towards the Ferrari. Trent behind by another half a second. Another half a second again for Colin Edwards behind that. And then I think the rest of the grid a bit spaced off going on through. Let's see how close they can get as they go through sector 3 of lap 23 right now. Will shortly be entering into the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. Out in front, 3.6 seconds. Frank leads the grid by right about now. Santiago in second, Ketchen third, got Youngling in fourth, Trent there in fifth, Edwards in sixth. Let's see if the positions are going to hold. Trent a pretty close gap. Youngling a pretty close gap towards that Ferrari. Can he get the move done here? He's pushing for the McLaren on the outside. The Ferrari on the inside. The Haas behind them. The Mercedes behind them that falls on through. And then of course another Aston Martin comes on through here. His teammate Frank leading the race. These few are having a train run going through here. The Ferrari leads that train going through, and it's only a 2:10 gap towards the McLaren behind him. The Ketchen is up to second. Can he hold this through the ultimate lap here? Going into the final lap, we'll see if it's going to happen. It's a 2:10 gap. Youngling in 40, he's still trying to get onto a podium place. Hasn't gotten that chance as yet from the start of this race. Trend there, he was fighting it for a podium, now down into fifth. He's still just trying to fight for some points getting through the rest of the session here. Let's see what's going to happen as we close this off here. Coming so close down to the end of the Grand Prix. It has been definitely an interesting session from the bit of qualifying that we got from the sprint race coming down to the 50% race. This has been one hell of a race, and Frank is looking for a win. 4.3 seconds ahead of Ketchen. Both of them on the soft tires. 9 laps done. The Ferrari under so much pressure right now. 4 cars behind of him fighting for that second place, and he's holding on through to it as they're going through sector 3 right about now. It's going to be about 3 or 4 cars wide into that final turn. Let's see how it goes. It's about 2 cars wide. We got contact with the Haas and the McLaren. Somebody lost some front wing, and I think it was the Haas of Youngling. He's lost a bit of bodywork there on the front of the car from the front wing, as possibly it is. Maybe the end plates on the right side are gone as they go into the final lap of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Frank leads them in 4.5 seconds ahead. It's only a tenth between Santiago and the McLaren and the Ferrari of Ketchen going through on this lap here. Trent, he's back up into 4th. He's back back in the battle again for a podium place. He's only a 10th behind the Ferrari. Can he push for a position here? He's going to be definitely pushing for that overtake going through this final lap here. No other chances to get this done. So he's going to push as much as he can there. Colin Edwards, he's up into 5th now, trying to battle the Mercedes if he can to get up another position. Frank, I'm not sure he got the pace on, but he's leading by 4.2 seconds. So potential win there definitely happening for him. We'll try to have a look at him getting across the line if he can there. But now in the midfield here, well, that's how still out in front of the field. Catching in 3rd. Chases after that McLaren. And the McLaren looking to get 2nd in this race here. You're probably hoping Frank gets a penalty up front, but even a 3-second penalty won't stop him from winning this race here. Catching there, still 7/10 behind. Trent 2/10 behind the Ferrari. Can he get the overtake done on the final turn? It's going to be an interesting one to watch here as they head through on it now. Through sector 3, around that bit of parabolica going through. The Mercedes is all over the rear of the Ferrari for this position. They're side by side going. The Mercedes forced around the outside. Can he get it? Doesn't look like he's going to get it though. Santiago still holds on to 2nd place as Frank here comes across the line to win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. The McLaren comes across for 2nd. The Ferrari and the Mercedes are side by side across the line. It's catching in 3rd though, and Trent takes 4th. Colin Edwards finishes in 5th. Youngling in 6th. Yuppie 7th. And we should have John there coming across for 8th. Houdini should be taking 9th. JST for 10th. Things will still change to get across the line here. But we're trying to keep an eye on it as we go on through. But that was a intense final few laps of it was an intense race overall, but that final 2 to 3 laps was definitely an intense one to watch going on through. I'll be making some quite interesting short videos I'm throwing up on TikTok on this one here. But that was like a heck of a race to watch. It looks like Mason 11th, Andy for 12, Waffle for 13. Yes, they have a guy named, or the cameras here, they have a guy named Waffle driving a Mercedes. So it looks like, unfortunately, Salam, Race Chase, Gunner, and Roll, they unfortunately out of the main race here. 13 drivers still finish the Grand Prix. That was something else. Yeah. I gotta say, that was definitely fun to watch. So thank you guys for having me join you guys here with the league for this race. JC, thank you very much. I appreciate everyone that joined us here live to watch this race here on IG Live Esports. Make sure you guys are following us. If you're watching live or watching back this stream, make sure you do follow us on social media, on TikTok, on YouTube, and of course here on Twitch, which is our main streaming channel right now. There's going to be some short videos going up on TikTok, on YouTube as well. I'll post the links in the Discord, but for everyone else, check out the socials. That's our top 3 drivers there. Frank, of course, receiving his trophy there right now. Let's have a look at the preliminary results of this session there. So Frank, of course, winning. I'll make sure I'm on the correct screen here if it's not here. Yeah, it's on the main race. So Frank there winning the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, the main race. Santiago in the McLaren finishes an incredible 2nd, catching in the Ferrari. Such a close third. Trent there in 4th. We got Colin Edwards in 5th, and Trent almost had that podium place there. Colin Edwards 5th. Got Youngling in 6th, Yuppie in 7th, John in 8th, Houdini in 9th, JC in 10th, Mason there 11th, 12th for Andy. Unfortunate finish for him. And then we have Waffle there in 13th. Asylum, Race Chase, Gunner, Roll, the tough luck guys. Better luck next time. Looking forward to see what round 2 in Abu Dhabi is gonna be like. Another night race, so yeah, we're looking forward to see what that's gonna be. And it should be overall a pretty good session as well. With the level of driving that we have here, this was 16 drivers in the sprint, 17 drivers in the main race. Imagine we have a full grid. It's gonna be quite an interesting race to watch yourself, as this was a lot of fun. So yeah, I know a lot of drivers possibly were just focusing a bit on their driving. I know the guys are going to watch it back. Hopefully you guys enjoy the session. Everyone else, if you watch live, thank you very much. Follow me on Twitch. If you're watching it back, please still follow me. I appreciate everyone that joined on the session. We're going to see you guys. Everyone's still on. Next stream, commentary stream, is going to be tomorrow evening, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. So please, if you can, join us on for the session. Should be quite an interesting session as well. I think I can switch this on through to something else here. So yeah, Definitely should be an interesting session there as well. I guess that's something I gotta fix. Anyway, yeah, so thank you guys again for joining on the session. Gonna take that off for a second. Yeah, so I appreciate everyone that joined here on the stream. Again, thank you very much to the league and to JST for getting me involved with this. I appreciate it very much. And yeah, you guys were a blast to watch racing here at Jeddah for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. That was ARL Elite Division. It's a no assist league, guys, so yeah, that's why it's a lot of fun. This no assist league really are a lot of fun to watch racing, and these guys, of course, it's a lot of skill to be driving in these races so close. I'm trying to avoid incidents as much as they can, so yeah, gotta come in there for it. Again, appreciate everyone that joined us here live on the stream, and we'll see you guys tomorrow evening for the next commentary stream. That's gonna be it, and I think I'll be signing off here now.